Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to check out the 1-bar stamina Necromancer build. 1-bar builds have become very powerful thanks to the new mythic item Oakensoul ring. This just juices up your stats like crazy. I will get into that in a second. You can find the written guide on ESO-hub.com. I have all my 1-bar builds there. All the endgame stuff is still on alcasthq, so don't worry about that. But if you want to see that build, it's here. Best in slot, the beginner, and you can also use werewolf with this setup if you want. All the important infos are here. I also added the combat metrics parse screenshot and the character stats, as well as a few tips for the build. Oakensoul ring, you will have to farm 5 leads. So far we know 3 of them, but by launch or like a day after launch we usually have all leads located. So make sure to check out that page as well if you want to know where the leads drop. Basically all the mythics, all the new ones. Let's take a quick look at the stats. We have 20k health, which is more than enough, 15k mag, and 34k stamina, 1500 stam recovery, which is very high. In general, you basically won't have any sustain issues anyway, because when we are more or less fully buffed, we are like 2.2k stam recovery. That's like very high. And of course, weapon damage is fairly high and crit. Plus we use a lot of proc sets, which juices up our damage even further. The Thief Mundustone for extra crit. Buff food, I like to use lava food soup and saltries, gives me a lot of max stamina and stamina recovery. Potions, you can use the normal cheap stamina pot, more than enough because we have all the buffs from Oakensoul pretty much. You could also use these minor heroism pots, but they're insanely expensive, so I don't recommend it. Just use the cheap normal potions. Race. Any stamina based race works. I usually go for Dark Elf because I get like 258 weapon damage. I also get almost 2k stam. And Magicka. So I like that combo, but anything that boosts stamina like will work. Let's talk about Oakensoul ring. So this locks you to 1 bar, but it gives you a buttload of buffs. So to showcase you the most important ones: Major Berserk, 10% more damage; Savagery, 12% more crit; Resolve, 6k more resistance; Minor Endurance, 15% more stam recovery; Heroism, Major Heroism, which increases your ultimate regeneration like crazy. Like, this is very nice. Major Brutality, 20% more weapon damage. This is from another set. Major Protection, 10% damage reduction. Major Force, 20% crit damage. And Major Courage, 430 more weapon and spell damage. Like, these are just... it's just so much. You can use this build in a solo or group environment. Just keep in mind some of the buffs often are given to you by like a healer or a tank, so things might overlap. But if you're playing solo, all these buffs are very, very nice. Plus the build is fairly easy to play because you only have 1 bar. This is the first set. The second set we use is Pillar of Nirn. This deals a buttload of damage. It's basically almost the same proc damage as Relican. That's why it's so good. You get like 8 to 9k DPS from the bleed procs. Really nice. Third set, Relican. You can have the normal or the perfect version, it doesn't really matter. This one also deals a buttload of damage, just so much proc damage, but single target only. This here has a small radius. If you don't have these sets, you can also use like the beginner setup on the website. Slimecraw will be the last set, basically just giving us a little bit extra crit chance. I do have 6 medium with divine traits and stamina and chance, and then I have a light armor piece with divine trait and stamina and chance. The jewelry, all bloodthirsty with weapon damage and chance. And weapons, 2 daggers, 1 Nirnhund with a flame enchant, and another dagger with the charge trait and the poison enchant. Champion points, the green tree, it doesn't really matter. I usually use Steed's Blessing, Liquid Efficiency, Rationer, and Treasure Hunter. Here is where it gets more important. So you want Raffle Strikes, gives you 205 weapon damage. You want a Deadly Aim for increased damage done with single target attacks, and Master of Arms increases your damage done with direct damage attacks. And then Backstabber or Fighting Finesse. So Backstabber gives you 10% crit damage and Fighting Finesse 8%. However, Backstabber, you need to be behind the enemy, otherwise it won't work. That's why I usually recommend, if you're unsure, just pick Fighting Finesse, because that will work from anywhere and it's only a 2% difference. The red tree, fitness tree, Boundless Vitality for more health, Fortified for more resistance, and Rejuvenation for more recovery. You can also use Bloody Renewal here. Every time you kill a target, it will give you quite a lot of stamina. Of course, get all the passive perks if you have enough champion points. The whole list is also on the website. So now to skills. Let's start here. Avid Boneyard. You want this morph because you can activate your own synergy, which will also deal extra damage. Make sure to pick this one. It deals a lot of damage, and when you see consume a corpse on cast to deal 50% more damage. So if there's a corpse on the ground, from for example Stalking Blastbones or Skeletal Archer, it will also deal more damage. Stalking Blastbones, we use the Magicka version because it generally deals a little bit more damage. However, you could also use the Stamina one if you prefer the Stamina version. This is basically your number 1 damage ability. You should use it every second or third cast. Basically, whenever it is ready, you want to prioritize the Blastbones. Venom Skull is your spammable. Deals a lot of direct damage, and every third cast deals 20% increased damage. Barb Trap deals decent damage, but more importantly gives us minor force, which increases our critical damage by another 10%. And the Skeletal Archer deals a lot of damage and also gives us the... Let me see, where is it? Undead Confederate, so it gives us 200 extra stamina recovery. This is really nice. And then ultimate, we use Ice Comet. This one is from the Mage's Guild skill line. It deals the most damage. However, if you don't have Mage's Guild, you can also use the Pestilent Colossus. Right? But usually Ice Comet deals a little bit more. But if you need major vulnerability, then Pestilent Colossus is the way to go. If you need heals, I recommend using Resolving Vigor. You can get this by completing the Cyrodiil tutorial. Like, it's very easy to get. And then just swap out the Barb Trap for Vigor, and now we have a very powerful heal. Very easy. When we look at the Parse, managed to reach like 92k. As you can see, Stalking Blastbones here, it's like 16k DPS. That's crazy. Light attacks is the second highest with 12k, and then we have Relican, the proc set, with almost 10k. The second proc set is Pillar of Nirn, and when we calculate that, it's basically 9.2k from Pillar of Nirn versus Relican with 9.7. So these two proc sets are just very, very juicy. I highly recommend getting them. Pillar of Nirn is a little bit easier to get, because it's from a dungeon. Relican is from a trial. But again, normal mode, not that hard to clear, to be honest. You can also look on the website, like if you need to know where a set drops, just click on the items and you will see, okay, Cloud Rest. Cloud Rest and Pillar of Nirn is from Falkreath Hold, which is another dungeon. Basically all the info you need. Then, yeah, Venom School, it actually has 3 different procs here. It did like 11k DPS. Then we have Ice Comet with like 8.4k. Yeah. Avid Boneyard. This here's the Synergy, 7k. And then the Archer. Yeah. And a few others. Trap did like 3k. I think it's actually almost 4k. And another thing that is important, the enchantments. You see, they did 8,596. So just having a flame enchant and a poison enchantment slotted resulted in almost 9k DPS, and I didn't do any, like, it's just free damage. There's so much free damage in this build. I mean, when we calculate this Relican, all the proc stuff, Barber Trap is not. Did I miss anything? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like 27, 28k free damage just from procs alone. That you don't have to do anything. Yeah, Standard Shield also. And so is this, yeah. Outfit. Basically all Dragonbone with Void Pitch Black. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that juicy like button. Now let's check out the Parse.